definitely subscribe. Hit the bell so you can get notifications each and every time I upload a new video. And smash the like button. Put you down for just a second. Stop. I don't care.
You talking about what?
I feel naked without my lashes on. I have my lashes on right now. That's okay. I did get my nails done. Aren't they cute? My nail tech does her thing. Doesn't she? Doesn't she like go off? Like she be low key going off and don't be knowing she be going off. Okay, she be going off every time she put her hands on my nails. Okay. So I know me and her got into an argument today. Okay, we definitely did. Okay, she was so upset with me because she was like, "Well, how do you know?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Girl." So she thought I was mad when I wasn't mad. But that's okay because it's a opportunity. It really is. For me, I like to take any conversation that I have with people in my real life and use those as teachable topics, teachable moments for this. Hey, Truly Blessed. Hey, girl. Say happy birthday because you know it's my birthday after midnight. Yes, it is. 26 January is me. What? So anyway, me and my nail tech got to a conversation. She was just like, "Well, how do you know you're not talking to?" Basically, she didn't say what I'm about to say, but how do you know you're not talking to a demon? She didn't say that, but she basically was like, how do you know you're talking to your ancestors? So we went down this whole line of conversation, and ultimately what we really come to in that conversation is the same way that you know that you're talking to God is the same way you know you're talking to your ancestors. And I know for some people that might see, thank you, honey, thank you. I know for some people that might be like, well, what do you mean? No, 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 no. Because God is not the ancestors and blah, 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 blah. They don't have to be the same thing. This is about your spirit. This is about your soul. This is about your connection to the divine. So this is about you being able to recognize that you can tap in. It does not matter if you have been studying religion or if you don't know. It's about the feeling, the vibes, the understanding, the tapping in, the intuition. All of that stuff makes a difference in knowing and understanding who you are and who and what you're tapping into. The reason why this is so important is because oftentimes we think that we need these grand answers, right? Oftentimes the answers are more simple than we think. Okay. Simplicity. Let's look at this simply in a simple, simplistic way. If we look at this in a simplistic way, when you feel that you are praying to God or talking to God or being touched by God or being accessed by God, how do you know that you are experiencing a positive or a negative energy? Because how you feel, the vibration you pick up. It's the same thing when you're talking to your ancestors. The very same thing. Another thing is, let's say you're dreaming, right? Your ancestors will often do things that are beneficial and helpful to you. I have probably a great grandmother, right? And I'm sure that I had a dream once, right? And this was a woman that I did not recognize. So I'm sure that that was either the mother or the grandmother of my great grandmother that came to me in a dream. The thing is, in that dream, I was recognizing signs and symbols of alchemy, of magic, of hexes and curses being placed upon me. How did I know it was my grandmother? There are going to be signs and symbols. We have to remember that signs, symbology are the messages and the way of the universe. The way of the universe is a sign, is a symbol, is a message. Say, how you doing, girl? Congratulations, by the way, because you started your whole business. What? Girl, we are so excited about that. I am like, I'm taking a drink to that. That's not the only reason why I'm taking a drink, but that's one of the reasons why I'm taking a drink to that, girl. Congratulations. Okay, insurance agent. Let me know what kind of insurance you're providing. You already know I'm a business owner, so I need insurance all the time, you know? So let me know what type of insurance you're providing, honey. Come on. You need an affiliate? Let me know. What's the commission? I'll help you get that thing built out, girl. What? Anyway, thank you. Anyway, when it comes to your energy, your soul, first off, your soul is always connected to God, higher source, the universe, whatever you want to call it. You can call it God. If you want to call it God, call it God. Your soul is always connected to that. Now, whether or not your personal, physical, mental self is connected to your source or cut off from your source because of the frequency you're keeping is going to often be a different story, right? So me and my nail tech, we was having a conversation, and she was getting mad and whatever. She swore up and down I was mad. I really wasn't mad. I was just she kept like getting loud and yelling. So I was like, well, let me raise my octave a little bit so you can hear what I'm saying, right? So we was basically just going back and forth with each other or whatever. I wasn't mad though, but out of that conversation, what I gathered is that there are times when, especially if you're coming from the church, if you're coming from religion, there are going to be difficulties in recognizing and understanding who this stuff works. Who, how, why, when, how all this stuff actually operates as it relates to going more into your spiritual understanding, more into your divine self, as opposed to, looking for religion to carry you to your highest heights. And so she was basically posing the question, how do you know you're talking to your ancestors, especially if there's 500 years old and they're not like this or that? Well, let me tell you why. Because first and foremost, your blood is your DNA, right? And you know your mother, you know your grandmother, you know your grandfather, right? And they know their ancestors. So through that knowledge and through that information, you will also know those things. Now, I know oftentimes we are always looking for, when we're looking for answers, we're often looking for the most complex answers. But oftentimes, answers are the most simple thing. Keep it simple, stupid, right? I've been that has been said to me so many times because a thinker. I'm very much a thinker. I'm an analyzer. I'm going to think about this. I'm going to analyze and analyze and analyze. But ultimately, oftentimes when I have come up with really good ideas, really good strategies, or high performing things, they have always been the most simple strategies that there are. Always, every time. Every time it has been the most simple strategy ever. Because it's probably most likely the path of least resistance. So when my tech was talking to me today, it was really a point where in the conversation where I just realized simply that oftentimes when we don't know something, or when we don't know something, we could either fear it or we could get frustrated and get angry about it. Okay, when we don't have an understanding of something, that can cause us to be angry or fearful or both. And so I wanted to come and have this conversation with you today because I want you guys to be recognized first and foremost. Here, let me just say this. I am not here to teach you how to go back into your religion and be more religious. That's not what I'm here for. I am here to teach you how to be your goddess or your god self within and through yourself, as well as recognizing your ancestral connection, or how to use that to help you become more solidified and more aware within yourself. And I may do this through various different ways, but it won't be through religion. It won't be through your Christianity. I mean, it might be a little bit because oftentimes the clearest understanding that you have is through your religion, right? Like, so if I talk about the Bible, if I talk about Bible verses, or how to relate, if I relate parables with what I'm trying to convey to you guys, it could be because most likely that's the clearest thing that you understand. But understand that when I am talking about those things, it's really to help you, it's really to jog your memory and to help bring clarity between concepts. The way in which you go and you pray and you say, oh God, I'm connected to God, how you feel connected to God is the same way you will feel connected to your ancestors or not. Now, I'm pointing this out because my tech was like, but God is not the ancestors and the ancestors is not God. They don't have to be the same. This is not about God and this is not about your ancestors. It's more about your spirit. It's more about your soul. It's more about your connection. And that's what this is about. This is about you being able to understand your connection. You have a connection to God. If you have a connection to God, then there's no way that you cannot connect with your ancestors. It's the exact same method and the exact same process. And she kept feeling like I was saying that the ancestors are God and this and that and third and all that stuff like that. So when we start getting into the topic of God and religion and things like that, that's why oftentimes, sometimes you get frustrated and you get confused or you get thrown off because you're thinking about it in a Christian or Muslim or Buddhist concept or in a Buddhist way, when in actuality, the information that I'm giving you is not in those concepts. It's not in those boxes at all. It is outside of those boxes. So when you are outside of a box, if somebody can only think inside of a box, it is automatically going to frustrate them because at some point they're going to reach the sides of those walls inside that box. At some point, when you reach the walls inside that box, that is the capacity that you can reach. You can't expand beyond that. But understand, I'm not even talking about in the box. I'm outside the box when I talk about things oftentimes, right? And so she said to me, she was like, well, when I pray, I was like, well, how do you know who God is? She was like, well, when I pray to God and I do this and I do that, and I was like, well, how do you know who you're praying to when you're praying to God? Because it's God and this and that and the third. The same exact way that you feel certain about praying to God is the same exact way that you should feel certain about understanding your connection between you and your ancestors. Okay? Because ultimately it's all about feeling. It's all about your intuition. One of the other things that she pointed out was, oh, because God is a positive energy. And I was like, you're right. But you feel that. The only way you know that God is a positive energy is because it's something that you feel within yourself. It is the same way when we're talking about your ancestors, or whether or not you're talking to a demon or talking to your ancestors. It's the exact same way that you are going to understand whether you're talking to a negative entity or a positive entity. They are exact same methods. The exact same methods. Hey Marie, how you going? How you doing? So the exact same methods that you will use to connect to God or source or universe, whatever it is that you believe in. I'm not here to argue with you about what you believe in. I don't really, that doesn't matter. Because ultimately, all beings on this earth have a spirit. I won't say all, but most beings on this earth have a spirit. Most beings on this earth have ability to intuit, to feel, to discern based on their feelings. If you've ever had an experience where you were like, I want to go to the store, but I'm not going to go right now. Or I want to go to the club, but I'm not going to go to that one. Or I want to go out tonight, but I want to go out tonight. I really want to go out tonight, but I ain't going out tonight. And then you find out the next day that the shit got shut up. Or you find out that, somebody robbed the bank right around the corner from the store that you was going to go to. Or you find out that there was, a bad storm or something. It doesn't have to be major, terrible issues that went down. It could be something simple like it was a rainstorm out there and I would have went outside, walked out there and slipped and bust my ass. It could be very simple. But the same way that you access your intuition to make decisions based upon, okay, how I'm feeling like I really need to do this thing, but I'm not feeling this is the right moment or the right time or the right mood or the right vibe to do such a thing. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Oftentimes you may find that there was something that went down that kept you from going there because that is your spirit. That is your energy. That is your ancestors right there talking to you and telling you, hey, honey, don't do that trip today. We don't need you going down to the clubs. It's going to be a shot up today. So just don't go. Okay. So now when I talk about, when I was talking about this with my nail tech today, she was so upset. She was just like, She basically thought that I was, oh, that's God. She basically was, well, the ancestors are not God and this and that and third. And I get that. But the method of contact, the method of connection is the exact same method that you will take when you connect with God or spirit or source or whatever it is that you believe in. It's the exact same method. We don't really have to argue about that. I'm not interested in arguing with you about your God and what you believe in and whether there is a God or not a God. That's not my issue. I don't really care about that. That's the reason why is because everybody has their own beliefs. You have your belief on whether your God is Allah, whether your God is Jesus, whether your God is Yahweh. You have your beliefs on that, and I'm not going to argue with you about that. That's not my argument. That's not my fight. That's your fight. Because to me, all of those energies are the same. When we are talking about source energy, we are talking about the connective energy that connects everything, all of us, all beings, all animate and inanimate objects. When we are talking about source, we are talking about the source that creates and that gives energy to all of those things. That's not my argument. It never has been. My argument is whether or not you think that that energy is in you. Like I said before, I'm here to teach you how to be the god or the goddess that you are. The choice is yours whether or not you want to be that. It ain't mine. And I'm not about to argue with you about whether or not you have a power that you think you do or don't have. Whether you believe that this is what you have or not. That's not my fight. If you're not at the point where you understand that you've got something in you, that you've got God qualities in you, that you've got goddess qualities in you, if you don't believe that you have creator abilities within you, then this is not for you. This is for people who have gone beyond that part. Another thing I wanted to address today, experience. My grandfather once told me, I think I was probably about 13 years old, maybe 13 or 14 years old, when he told me, do not argue with people about their beliefs and their religion, because they will kill you about that. So let's be clear. Whenever I'm having a conversation, if ever I find or feel that you are very irate about what you believe and you think that I believe something different than what you're saying, or you can't understand that I'm basically saying the same thing you're saying in a different way, I will back out of that conversation. Here's the reason why. Because I understand that people get very violent about their beliefs. Once again, I'm not here to argue with you about your beliefs. I'm just here to push you forward. I'm here to help you access and understand that that power that you pray to is also within you. Why is that important? Because we all have ability to create something. A source of creation comes from our mind. How much havoc can we create in the earth based upon the things that we think it is possible? Whether or not you believe those things are possible, that's not the fight I'm trying to have with you. The fight I'm having with you, which ain't even a real fight, it's just really me helping you to learn how to use those abilities, not teaching you or fighting with you about believing in those abilities or understanding that those things are a real thing. If you're not there, this ain't for you. If I have to talk to you and try to convince you that you have a power within you, that ain't the fight I'm trying to fight. This ain't the channel for you. I'm talking to people who understand that there's something in me that is very powerful. I want to know how to use that power. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to push you along your journey. I'm here to support you when you feel disenfranchised, when you feel left out, or you feel alone because you, for so long, for 30 years, for 20 years, for 40 years, you've been taught that religion is all there is. I'm not her to teach you about how to be in religion. I'm her that teaches you how to move forward past religion. how to understand that the religion is a tool, but it's not. It's a piece. It's a part of the journey, but it's not the destination. So if you understand what I'm saying, what I'm ultimately saying is that I'm not here to tell you to fight with you about what you believe in. I'm not here to fight with you about what you believe in. Once you get to the point where you understand that there is something in you that is more powerful than you understand and goes beyond your religious understandings and your religious beliefs, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you move through the journey of the great fucking beyond. Smash the like button. It's my birthday. The least you can do is smash the like button. I am here to help you get through the great beyond. The great beyond is once you get past your religious construct, once you get past the box of religion, that's where I come in. Once you're on the outside of that box, I'm right out there saying, hey, how you doing? You need some help? Let me help you get down this road. Hey, how you doing, baby? I understand you just got out the box. No worries. Don't bother about it. Don't worry about too much. Let me show you the road and the path we're going to get on. We're going to get on down this path right here. Or if you want to go down a different path, we have many different paths you can choose because ultimately life is your choice. This journey is your decision. It's not my decision. I'm just here to help you get where you want to go. Religion has told us. School systems have told us. Government has told us that we have to take a specific path. Ultimately, we find out that there's more ways to get to one destination than we thought. When you live in Michigan and you want to get to California, there are multiple roads you can take. There's not just one road. I'm just here to help you get to whichever road it is that you want to get to and help you get on down that road. But I'm not here to argue with you about your beliefs. I want you to be clear about that. If you don't understand if you only understand that there is just this God and that this other stuff is crazy and that's not what I'm not going to fight with you about that. I'm not about to fight with you about your beliefs. That's fine. Once you get past that point where you understand that there is more to spirituality than you know, and now you want to understand, okay, well, how do I decipher this information? I can help you with some of that. But I'm not going to argue with you about the Bible. I'm not. I'm not going to argue with you about Christian or religious or Muslim beliefs. I'm not about to do that. That's not what I'm here to do. Let me get back to the story. My grandfather once told me that, be careful because people will fight you and kill you over their beliefs. And then he proceeded to tell me how when he first converted to Islam, someone that he grew up with, he was having a conversation with somebody that he grew up with. And because they were not agreeing that God and Allah were the same person, this person proceeded to stab my grandfather. My grandfather got out of that city. He moved on to another city to continue on to live his life. Because ultimately, sometimes you will find that people that you grow up around, they have their own understandings. They have a specific idea of what they think life looks like and should be. And when you challenge that, they oftentimes become very irate and very upset and very bothered. And I've seen this myself in life, which is why when my grandfather told me that story, that was important for me to know, because when I moved back home, I had a boyfriend at the time, and we were having a conversation, and we were just talking about religion and belief or whatever, because at the time I had converted to Islam. I was a Muslim, and I was previously a Christian, but I had converted to Islam because I found something in Islam that was what I needed now. At that time, I was 14. So we began to have a conversation anyway, me and this boyfriend, we were having a conversation, and he began to get upset and bothered by the things that I was telling him. Now, mind you, the reality of Christianity and Islam is crazy, because Islam and Christianity are so interestingly close to each other that the reason why people fight is the stupidest thing ever. Anyway, we were having a conversation and he started to get upset. I understood what my grandfather was telling me in that moment. I've had conversations with my mom in the past. Now she's kind of going into a different direction, but in the past, I had conversations with my mom where she was getting upset about stuff. Now, obviously, she wasn't going to kill me, and I didn't feel that energy from her. But I also, from what my grandfather had told me, I also understood what he said. There are multiple experiences that I've had in my life where I can understand exactly what my grandfather was saying when he said people will kill you about their beliefs. Now, that doesn't mean that they will. That doesn't mean that it will always come to that. Oftentimes, I never felt the need to take it further because in reality, I'm not here, and I've never been here. Even when I was younger, and I'm always very strong about what I believe in, but not to the point where I have to force you to believe what I believe because it's what I believe. I've always been very open in that way. You believe what you want to believe. We can talk about it. We can discuss. But when you start getting mad, I'm going to pull out the conversation because ultimately it ain't that serious for me. I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. We can talk about it. We can rap about it. We can compare notes about it and everything. But it ain't never as serious as I'm trying to convince you to believe what I believe. I've just never been that person. I ain't never going to be the Jehovah's Witnesses coming out and knocking on your door at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's just not who I am. But experience has taught me that what my grandfather said was wisdom given to a 14-year-old girl. And I took it from 14 on up to this point in my life. And I understand it. From 14 up to the time that I'm 39 years old. Today is my birthday, so say happy birthday. Up until today, I understand that what my grandfather was saying at that time, it was of great value to me. Because when I believe in something, I believe in it. But ultimately, I've never been, like I said, I've never been a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not trying to knock your door down to get you to believe what I believe. I'm just not that person. I mean, what you believe is what you believe. That's fine. I'm not going to fight with you about how you believe something. However, if we talking facts though, if we talking facts about what's in the Bible, we talking about facts about what's in the Quran. Oh, I can run you down on some facts. And oftentimes people get those two things confused. I've noticed that too. I've noticed at times that people sometimes, because because I was a Muslim, specifically because I was a Muslim, they felt that I didn't know nothing about the Bible, but that's just not true. So they thought that because I was saying something specific, that meant that I was talking about the Quran, when oftentimes when I'm having a conversation with you, I'm going to have a conversation with you in your own language. So oftentimes I was having conversations with Christians about the Bible. And because I was a Muslim, they assumed that I was talking about the Quran. I'm telling you what I read in the Bible. I read this shit in the book myself. So you can't sit here in my face and tell me something that I know. Ultimately, this story comes down to this. It comes down to experience. One thing you will gather in life is that experience can show you and teach you so many things that thinking, being taught, reading something in a book, your parents beating something in your head will never, ever tell you. Experience will show you something new and something different that none of the previous things that I just mentioned will ever do for you. Sometimes you have not experienced what you need to experience to step into a place where you can see your own greatness just for what it is. That's just a fact. It's just a fact. People often get mad at me, get mad at what I'm saying, don't understand what I'm saying, feel offended by what I'm saying, and I could care less. I'm not about to sit here. If you are offended, though, I want to be clear. If you are offended by what I'm saying, if you on my channel right now, you can simply click the X. But if we talking a real person, real face to face, and you're offended by something I'm saying, often I will just not continue to say. Often I will just move on with what I'm. I mean, obviously, with my husband, it's different. Our conversation is gonna be different anyway because we got feelings involved in this motherfucker. We're talking about people. There's people outside that you can connect with, or people that you collaborate with, or whatever, people that you do things with. If you feeling offended, that I'm talking about specific things, especially as it relates to spirituality, I'll move on out the conversation, because ultimately it's not really that important to me what you believe. Why? Because I accept people for who they are. If you believe that this is this, and that you believe that Jesus is Lord and this and that and third, no problem. We don't ever have to talk about those conversations ever again. Because I'm never here to tell you to believe something different than you believe until you, no, not until anything. I'm not here to tell you to believe something different. I'm here for you when you do believe something different, when you know something different, when you understand something different. I'm here to help support you through that journey, because it is a journey. When I was about 19, 20 years old, I began to go from the transition of being a Muslim to just random spirituality, right? Just open spirituality. Prior to that, I was in the construct of religion, and all I understood was inside of religion, or the basis or the foundation of religion. So I did not have a real understanding of what life looked like outside of the box, and outside of the construct, outside of the infrastructure, and outside of the indoctrination of religion. I did not have an understanding of what life looked like or what spirituality looked like outside of that. So I went through multiple moments where I was, I guess, for lack of better words, identity crisis is what comes up first. I went through moments where I did not understand how to process the information that was coming to me naturally. But I also knew that I could not ignore the call that was coming to my heart and my soul. So me and my nail tech were talking, and she was just like, well, how do you know? Well, ultimately, your soul is a part of who you are regardless. Your soul is, you are always connected to your soul. And your soul is always connected to source or God. Hey, Tay-Bucks, your soul is always connected to source or God, whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to argue with you about that. Make that clear. Your soul is always connected to source or God. How you feel connected to God, or how you feel like you connect with God, or how you feel like you understand God, is the same way that you can or will understand or connect to your ancestor, to your ancestries, to the angels, to the spirit realm. It is the same method. It's just a different name. And I'm doing this because oftentimes people get very caught up in the words, the semantics of it all, as opposed to understanding the concept. Happy birthday, Aqua! It's my birthday.
I'll drink to that.
It's still the same method, guys, okay? So I'm not about to sit here and argue with you about whether or not ancestors are God and God is ancestors. That's not the point. That's not even what we talk about. What we are talking about is the fact that if you are concerned about whether or not you are connecting with your ancestors versus demons, it's all about what you're feeling. Just like you know that if you feel so strong that you are connected with God, quote unquote, then you should have the same ability to take that same understanding and use it and shift it to understanding your ancestors as well. It's the same concept, it's the same method. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I know that might sometimes, it's a grapple. It's a grapple. I get it. Like I just told you, when I was about 19, 20, maybe 21, 20, between 19 and 23, somewhere in there, I went through a period of time where I was recognizing that my religion and the belief that I had, the construct of religion, was no longer going to work for me. The palette was too thin. The palette was too small. It was too boxed in. I needed to expand. I needed to evolve further than that. When I understood that, I went through identity crisis. Understand that I was like, oh my God, like, what is this? So it caused me to question a lot of things. And it took me a lot of time to work through all of that, mentally and emotionally. Once I got on the other side of that, though, and I got back to work and I got back busy, the same way in which I would pray and know that I was connecting with God is the same way that I would know that I'm connecting to my ancestors. And furthermore, you get additional information such as symbology. Symbology is very big in the universe, and we have to know this. Why do you think major corporations and major businesses that are modeled after our ancient ancestors, many corporations and businesses are modeled after our ancient ancestors because they understand that our ancient ancestors had the tea, honey. They had the method, boo. They had the winning strategy. And so they use bits and pieces of that. So understand that there are a lot of symbols and symbology and symbolic nature that you will find to help you connect further, such as your synchronicities. Your 111s and your 222s and your 333s and your 999s and all those things. Those are synchronicities. What do? They're symbolic. Furthermore, and this is something that I was talking to my nail tech about earlier, and she got very upset about this. I said, listen, because her whole question was, how do you know you connected with your ancestors as opposed to some evil entity? I said, okay. Well, just further down the conversation, she starts saying, well, when I pray to God, and I know I'm praying to God, and I said, hold on. I said, how do you know? Because ultimately, her question was, how do you know you connected with your ancestors and not some entity, some evil entity? And so when she said that she was praying to God and she know that, how do you know? Ultimately, all of that is about your faith. It's all about your deeper understanding. It's all about your intuition. All of these are tools for you to recognize the vibe. This is all about vibrations and frequencies. Understand that. Everything is a vibrational frequency, which is a mathematical equation, on the scientific level. Okay? But it is a frequency and a vibration. How do we know we're connecting with negative entities versus positive entities? Well, let's just talk about it. First off, if we break your molecular structure down, you got 6 chromosomes. Wait. 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and 6 electrons. Those protons and electrons are positive and negative energy. There's always going to be positive and negative energy within you. Period. See, oftentimes this is all a bunch of information come together though, and it seems like just a bunch of random information, but random information can come together and make fucking sense. Okay? That means to me, what I just said to you means this. You have negative and positive energy within you, period. When God created you, he created the good thing and he created the bad thing. So he created the angel and the devil at the same time. That comes together to be you. You want me to get grimy with it? Let's get grimy, okay? The positive and the negative is both within you. That's a part of your molecular structure when we talking scientifically, right? Well, we must understand that our spirituality, our mental, our emotional, our psychology, our spirituality, all of this is wrapped up in one thing. You cannot be one without the other. You cannot be mental without having the spirituality. You cannot be emotional without being spiritual. You cannot be physical without being also mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological. Those are your being. There's not one without the other. They are all converged together. And that's what we got to understand. Okay? So how do you know that you are, talking to your ancestors and not some evil entity? Well, it's about the vibe. How do you feel? Did you feel a dark vibe come when you start talking to this motherfucker or not? Yes or no? We can fucking argue semantics all day and all goddamn night, but how the fuck did you feel when you started talking to that goddamn entity? Did you feel good or bad? If you felt bad, get the fuck on, bitch. I know you ain't right for me. We want to make simple things very complex, and I get that because oftentimes that's what we do. We want to analyze things, we want to think about it, and it's got to be harder than what we think it is, but it's really not that hard. Make it simple, stupid. It's very simple. We don't need to make simple things complex. And oftentimes, as humans, when we get to thinking about stuff, that's just what we do. So let's just make it more simple. This is very simple. Oftentimes, when you have a problem, you'll often find that the most simple response or the most simple answer to your issue is the best option. This is the same thing. The most simple understanding is probably the best option. When you feel like you're praying and you're connected to God and you feel good about that, understand it's the same thing when you're connected to your ancestors. There's a lot of, what is the word? There's a lot of propaganda, I guess is one word. Another word is there's just a lot of rhetoric about your spirituality. Because ultimately, what these motherfucking demons have been doing is has been trying to teach you against who you the fuck are. And they taught you that through various methods. They brought the Christianity and the religion in, and they put some of the words in that you recognize and understand and can feel, and then they put some of the words that wasn't right supposed to be there, and they was there twisting up the words and fucking shit up. So now you don't even know. You don't even know how to connect with your goddamn self because everything's been so fucking twisted up. Let me make it simple for you. How do you fucking feel? It is that simple. Like I told you, I'm not here to walk you through your religion, your religious books, and help you feel more comfortable about being indoctrinated. I'm on the outside of that motherfucking box of religion. So this is the box right here, right? I'm on the outside of that damn box. When you get outside that box, I'll be there to greet you. Which way you want to go? What's your path? What do you want to do here? What's your purpose? Are you prepared to walk this path, or do you want to get your ass back in this box? I can help you get back in the box, or I can help you go down this pathway and find your own way, find your own understanding. And that is scary because ultimately what they have taught you is against your traditional ancestry. Your traditional ancestry, you've been taught against that. That's what the indoctrination of religion has literally done. It is, and then according to that, and then there's also rhetoric outside of the religion. So if you somebody that really fool with religion too much, they got rhetoric. Oh, if you do this or do that, then you're evil. They demonized the traditional arts of spirituality. So now you're afraid of what you actually should be opening up a little bit more to gain more understanding about you. So, how do you know you're connecting with a demon or with your ancestors? How do you feel? I've never come across a demon that I did not quickly understand how the fuck it felt. A feeling is a natural thing. It is not something that you have to conjure. It is not something that you have to learn. It is not something that you have to, study for, read a book for, be told about. A feeling is a natural fucking thing. So it will naturally come to you. Everybody has natural innate abilities. Now, whether or not you believe in your own natural innate abilities, that's probably the real fucking question. How do I believe in me? How do I believe in my own fucking feelings enough to understand that when I come across a demon, I done came across a demon? Those might be the real questions that we need to ask here. Because the spiritual realm, first off, as above, so below, as within, so without. There is nothing that happens in the spiritual realm that does not always also happen in this physical realm. So understand that many of the beings that you will meet in real life are the same goddamn beings you met in the spiritual realm first. One other thing. I had a dream. And this woman came to my dream, and I knew she was one of my ancestors or like a grandmother or something like that, but I did not recognize her face. But in that dream, there was a lot of symbology. There was things happening. There was people saying they were doing little specific things that kind of made me give them a side eye. And then I would see another thing that made me have a little side eye. And then when I went into this home, it was the home of my grandmother, my actual grandmother, when I was a little kid. And when I went into this home, this energy was sitting in a chair, and it was see-through, so it was a ghost. So I had a go. I was looking at a ghost in my dream, a ghost inside of a ghost. Ain't that crazy? So I'm looking at her, and obviously I could have been afraid. Obviously I could have taken, oh my God, this is a ghost. I need to fight this. This is an evil spirit. This all this stuff. I could have did all that. Instead, I just decided to observe. What I then observed was that ghost could have been considered an evil spirit, show me and teach me the exact formula that I needed to fight off actual spiritual and magical attacks that was happening in my physical life. That's another fucking way you gonna know. When they come to your goddamn dreams and they giving you the fucking formula, that's how you know. When they're in your dreams and you felt connected, you didn't feel a need to attack, you didn't feel a need to be upset or bothered or worried or concerned. Maybe you was a little startled because you weren't expecting to see a ghost in your goddamn dream. Yeah, I was a little startled. Oh. But startled and scared and fearful are not the same energy. So learn how to read your goddamn energy is very important. Startled is a different energy from fearful, from afraid. Startled is a different energy from feeling anger or resentment. Understand these different emotions is very important. Understanding emotions are very important because they're not all the same. My grandmother came into my dream, and this was weeks after I had also gotten another dream. And in the other dream, I was shown the face of somebody that was actually trying to hex me in the physical world. She had a pretty face. Buttery chocolate. Buttery chocolate, shining golden smile. I mean, it wasn't golden, but it was a shining smile. But the energy in her eyes, the energy in that dream, I knew that that bitch was trying to hurt me. That's how the fuck you know. The same way you know in your physical world, in your physical experience, when you first meet somebody and you feel a vibe, like this bitch is not feeling, this is a creepy bitch. It's the same way in the spirit realm. It's not different. I want you to understand that. When you meet a bitch that feel creepy, it make you want to step to the side, don't it? When you meet a man who has a bad fucking energy and you just like, ugh, this nigga seemed like a stalker a little bit. You know what the fuck you feel. Now, whether or not you act on those feelings or whether or not you know, make your decisions based on those feelings, that's all based on you. Your spiritual realm is the same exact way. There is no difference. Because everything that happens in the physical realm already happened in the spiritual world. One other thing, in the spiritual world, sometimes the people that we see in our physical world may have different faces. The faces may be different, but the energy is the same. Energy is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy does not die. Whether the energy is good or bad, it's going to feel how it feels, regardless, because it's energy. Energy is energy. Okay. So I'm having this conversation with y'all because my nail tech was very upset with me today. Okay. She was so upset with me. Okay. But ultimately, like I was trying to tell her, but at the time she wasn't able to receive what I'm trying to tell y'all right now. And that's okay. Because sometimes you have to work through the mental and emotional. Sometimes because we've been indoctrinated, we've been taught a certain way. We have to work through that shit. Understand it took me a couple years to work through my shit as far as it relates to religion and understanding things in a different way. It took me a couple years to get through that. So I'm not faulting her and I'm not faulting you for feeling upset or bothered by what I'm saying. But also understand that I'm not here to teach you about, I'm not here to fight with you about your religion and your beliefs and their religious way. That ain't my struggle with you. My purpose is once you get outside the box of religion and these specific societal beliefs, I'm on the outside of that box and I'm here to greet you then. Once you get that awareness that this ain't right, something ain't here, something not good. That's where I'm at. I'm a bitch that's on the outside of the box. Like, what's good? How you doing? What you ready to do? What you want to do? I'm here to support you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to push you forward. I'm here to show you a path or help you get to a path or whatever, or find somebody that can help you get to the path. But I'm not here to argue with you about the beliefs that you have inside that box. I'm not here to argue with you about that. Okay? When you're ready to be your goddess or your god self, then let me know. I'm here for that. All right? Let me look at the comments real quick. So, you can be deleted, because who the fuck comes to somebody's channel and says some shit like that? I don't know you. Angela Stone says, I think a demon is taking over my relationship. I need blessings. I need help. Okay, so talk to me about that. What does that look like for you, Angela? Okay, because listen, let me tell you something. Um, ultimately, that's not what I was talking about. But I wanted to convey that message because, like I said, oftentimes the conversations that I have in real life, I use those as teachable moments here with you guys. And the reason why the reason why I have them in this way is because sometimes the conversations that I'm having with other people, they might be frustrated with me because I'm so open on this channel about the things that I think and feel, right? That if they have an issue, maybe if they've ever checked out my channel or heard me say something here, they might be so frustrated that at the time we have a conversation, they're just bringing all that frustration out on me. Okay. And so at those moments when we're having those conversations, sometimes it's not necessary for me. Sometimes it's the only thing that's necessary for me in that moment for their growth is to let them have that moment. Right? Because I'm not just here to argue with you guys. This is also about wisdom. This is also about growth. It's about that growth process, right? And that evolvement level. So sometimes in the conversation I might have with my real friends, families, and people that I communicate with in life, sometimes they are trying to get some shit off. And it's okay. Let them have it. I let them have it sometimes. Because sometimes they exactly needed that moment in order to be able to move through whatever it is that they're grappling with within themselves. And the reason why I can say that is because I've understood that I've had those moments with myself in the past. I've had moments in the past where I've grappled with myself about what I was experiencing and the expansion that I was going through. I wasn't completely understanding until I got to the end, to the other side of the expansion. Okay. So that's another reason why sometimes when people are frustrated with me in real life and they're talking about this spiritual stuff specifically, if I might argue with them, I might banter with you a little bit. But if I see that you just kind of like in this space, I'll let you have that, because the reality is that there's something that you need to experience right now in order to be able to help you. You're arguing with something in your mind, because there's nothing that most people can tell me that is going to make me argue with myself, because I'm already clear about where I'm at. I'm clear about who I am, what I believe, what I need, and what I want, right? I'm clear about this. That's not the issue. There's something here that you need to expand on. And sometimes they are giving me gems that I could expand on. But oftentimes I will. Like, oftentimes if I hear something, I'm like, I'll think about it. I'll go back. I'll do some research. I'll look it up. I'll sit down and meditate about it and think about, okay, is there something that I can expand upon there? And I will expand upon those things. but it's not in the way in which we previously were taught, which is, oh, you got to go to your Bible, or you got to go to this, you know what I mean? I'm not doing it from a religious mindset. I'm doing it from a more open concept. And so, anyway, that conversation I feel was needed today, because obviously it brings a teachable lesson here for you guys, for me to speak with you guys about. And then once I put it out into the universe, usually it gets to the people that it needs to get to, including my nail tech. It will get to her, whether or not I tell her, or whether or not it just energetically she picks it up. But that's how this information goes. Once I start talking about stuff, it travels through the universe, because that is the creation. Here I am creating something new for somebody to think about. And that's another thing. So sometimes as we are all learning every day, we're expanding every day. So sometimes, yesterday I might explain something completely differently. Today I have to come and re-explain the same shit sometimes, because I have to re-explain a different way that I've learned from today. From the experience of the conversation that I had today, it gave me another way to say this thing. So it allows me to expand upon the concepts. It allowed me to expand upon the ideas. And another thing is, it's never done. Okay, as long as you're living, it's not done. Every day is a new opportunity to learn something new, to expand upon something. Remember how we was in school, from the time we was in maybe like 6th grade all the way up to college. They're teaching you basically the same shit. Even in so you start in arithmetic. In arithmetic, they start teaching you fractions, right? Well, then why, if you taught me fractions in 5th grade, why do I got to 8th grade? Why do I got to do fractions again? Because now you got fractions with variables, right? Okay, fine. In 8th grade, I got that. Why in 9th grade or 10th grade, why do I also have to learn additional fractions, and now I got to add decimals and a variable to this shit? And then when you get to college, it's like, okay, this is enough. Like, I've learned this shit already. Why do I have to keep looking at these stupid fucking equations? It's because they continue to expand upon the same concept. That's because even if you get one iteration of something, you get an iteration of something today, and next year, on the same day next year, that iteration expands. So that is what I'm trying to say right now. I may talk to you guys about some things, and sometimes the iteration is here, and the next time we talk about it, the iteration is here. It is expansion. And expansion is ever growing, ever evolving, ever changing, which means that we continue to expand upon the previous concepts that we have already discussed. Okay, and so that may be the conversation that is being had today. I had a conversation with my nail tech, and she was hot. She was 38 hot at me. Okay, she was 38 hot and talking about, you so mad and angry. I said, when she told me I was mad and angry, that's why when you tell me I'm mad and I'm not mad, oh, I'm gonna shut the conversation down, because I ain't mad. I'm letting you know now. I ain't mad, but also you're not gonna yell at me and not thinking I'm gonna raise my voice too, boo. We gonna be yelling at each other, goddamn it, okay? But by the end of the conversation, you know what I mean, she understood, and she was just like, we need to learn how to argue better. And I was like, girl, you just like yelling, you know? So we lighten the mood, but ultimately I feel that in that conversation, she's gonna think about this in the future, and maybe right now she's not getting what I'm saying, but in the future one day she gonna get it. And that's where the conversation of experience comes in, because as you grow, you get more experience. And as you get more experience, you get more awareness and understanding. We can read a book all day. We can hear about the preacher talking to us all damn day. Our mom and our dad can talk to us all damn weekend. But until we have the real world experience to understand how concepts, how just real world experiences can help relate to our beliefs and various different things, you know, sometimes we stay the same place. But once we start having those various different experiences that helps expand our understanding, you know what I mean, that's where we at. And so I'm not tripping, because she's probably about, let me see, somewhere in there. Where she's at right now, she's on par with where she's supposed to be. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But the fact that she's having a conversation about it, and she got hot, like I said, she was 38 hot at me. Okay, she was 38 hot. Okay, I know she finished my nails. Look my nails. Y'all see me like doing this and shit like that. She finished my nails nice and pretty though, didn't she? So she still did her job, still completed the job, even though I was frustrating her. with the conversation that we was having. So that lets me know she's going to expand on she's going to expand on everything we talked about. I'm not worried about her. As far as her growth goes, I ain't worried about her. She going to expand. She's pissed at me today, but you know, in a couple years she'll be like, I get it now. That's how we understand. This is one of the things my mom used to tell me. Oh, when you get to this point, then you'll understand then. And I used to be so irritated, like, Mom, like, come on. Can you just tell me now? You know? But sometimes you gotta go through you gotta walk through that mud, baby. You gotta walk through that trench in order to understand what I'm telling you right now. And so for me today, that conversation that we have, that's all it was. I understand that there's something that she gonna have to walk through in order to understand what I'm talking about on this channel and understand what I be meaning when I talk about these things. So it's no need for me to fucking argue with her right now. And that's oftentimes why I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about your beliefs and your religion, because that could push you away from your growth. So when I see you start to get mad, I know that to me is key indicator and key element that's gonna push you away from your growth. So I'm not gonna talk to you no more after that. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back off the conversation because I don't want to push you from your growth. Your growth is supposed to happen naturally, but if you feel like, if you're anything like me, which is, oh, you trying to force me to believe something, well, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm not doing that. I was having a conversation with Gino today, and I was just like, you know what? We have some beautiful children. Like, these kids are absolutely amazing. And it made me think about when I was younger, you know, and my mom used to think that she had to be a strong hand. And maybe with me, maybe she did have to have a strong hand, but that's because when I saw something, if I saw it as being wrong, I was gonna fight it tooth and nail. I was gonna go the other direction. I'm not doing that, right? And my mom had a different approach than I have with my children, right? So with my children, I because of what I saw with my mom and my relationship with my mom, I was like, okay, well, let me try a different approach because I know how I am. For me, if I feel like you're on some bullshit, or if I feel like you're trying to do the wrong thing, or you know you're trying to lead me down the wrong or whatever, just if I feel like you also not understanding certain things, but trying to force me to do it your way, I'm not doing that. So what are we talking about? Like, we're really not talking about nothing because I'm not doing that. And so I wanted to make sure that I didn't push my children down a path where they was forced to do the wrong thing. And now I find that they are really literally following a beautiful path. A path in which I can help guide them. A path in which I can help them grow further and expand further without pushing them too far or pushing them too hard. So I think I learned a thing or two when my mom raised me. I learned a thing or two about not trying to force people's hand, you know? And I've just never been like that. I'm not gonna force your hand or try to force your hand on what you believe or what you think or what you want to do. That's fine. Do you? I'll be here when you're ready to see the other way. I'll be here when you're ready to see the truth. That's fine. I'll be here. But I'm not gonna try to force your hand on no shit. Because it's not beneficial. It's not beneficial to you or me. It's not beneficial to you because if I try to force your hand, it's gonna make you go the other way. Because you think I'm trying to force your hand. Because you think I'm trying to control you. So that's gonna make you do exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to tell you to do. Now you gotta fight the system. You know, you gotta fight the power. I'm at the power you gotta fight. All right. Anyway, ultimately, this conversation tonight was all about how do you know whether or not you're talking to your ancestors or you're talking to some demons. And the reality is, if you are somebody that comes from a concept of a religion, when you felt that you were talking to God, how did you feel? Use that same method when it comes to talking to your ancestors. Also, read the symbols and the signs that come to you, such as your synchronicities, such as your just symbology in life. What people may say to you that might make you think about something else, that might remind you of something that was important to you or valuable to you in your life. Smells, scents, and smells can be symbols as well. In that dream, I had a scent and a smell that I can't remember right now, but in that dream where I saw that great grandmother, a grandmother that I'd never seen in my life, but I recognized her energy for some reason. She vibed with me in some way. So I didn't fight with it. I didn't fight with the energy. I just let her say what she had to say. And what she told me was exactly the method and the formula that I used when I woke up in my waking life to fight off actual hexes and curses that were hitting me. And when I used the method that she told me to use, I ain't had no more issues since then. Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit of something trying to come back. But some of that stuff, we have to remember that when magic is used in any certain situation, we have to remember that there's a pendulum in life. The pendulum swings left and right, right? If it goes this way, it got to come back this way. So we got to remember that in everything that we do in life, there's a blowback. One of the statements that I heard today in a something that really reminded me of this is when anything is gained, something is lost somewhere else. So when something is gained, something is always lost. That is the reciprocity. That is the pendulum. That is the pendulum swinging back and forth. If I gain over here, there's loss over here. If I gain over here, there's loss over there. The pendulum swings back and forth. That is a law of life. Okay? That's one of the laws of life. We have to remember that life is ordained by specific innate laws that are going to happen. Laws of the universe that are present whether you like it or not. Whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, whether you believe in the devil, whether you believe in Islam or Buddhism or Christianity or whatever, or Judaism, there are laws of life that are always present. Okay? And so we are governed by those laws. So really we don't need no fucking government, but they feel like they need to be there. But we are governed by the natural laws of the universe. So it don't matter what you believe in. I'm gonna leave you with this. Everything that happens in the spiritual realm will come down to the physical realm. So when you meet people in your life, or you have experiences, or you meet energies that you feel a certain way about, or you feel good about, or you feel bad about, that is the same way that you decipher and discern energy in the spiritual realm. Now, the difference is that in the spiritual realm, in your dreams, like if you're going to sleep and you're in the astral realm, the difference is the faces look different. And sometimes the faces in the astral realm are a lot more exaggerated. Sometimes the faces in the astral realm may be they may have various different markings and different things like that on it. So it appears to be more scary. It appears to be more scary. But energy is energy. Energy never dies. And energy cannot be mistaken. What you feel when you initially meet or presented with an energy is what the fuck it is. Energy is energy. That's it and that's all. All right? So, if there's no questions out there in the world, I want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight on my birthday. We're bringing in my birthday. It is 3/24, and it's been my birthday for like 3 hours and shit. So, I'm just drinking a little bit, It's gone though. This is very empty cup. Oh my god, I can't believe my cup is empty. Okay, it's my birthday. I'm super excited. Today I'm not trying to do too much because I'm, waiting for like next year, because next year is my big, my big birthday. So this year I'm chilling, spending time with my loves, the loves of my life. And yeah, that's it. If you got anything from this video, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and, get all notifications, stuff like that. So anyway, thank you for tuning in tonight. Hopefully you got something from this video. I'll see you in the next one.